Hey mate, I'm Alex.
And I'm Gaston.
Welcome to Power Mates.
This is the place to learn and share about Fabric and Power Platform. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this channel with your friends and colleagues.
So, welcome back, Power Mates. Today, we are going to talk about the world of Microsoft Fabric shortcuts. Stay with us as we guide you through on why shortcuts are a game changer. So, Gaston, please could you guide us on what are the Fabric shortcuts and why are so important?
Yeah, of course, Alex. Let's just try to explain first what is the concept behind shortcuts. You know, a shortcut is kind of a symbolic link between which points from one data location to another. Just like, we are old school, we know about shortcuts in Windows or Linux. The data will appear right away in the shortcut location as if it were physically there. Let me first share my screen to talk about the details around shortcuts.
Sure thing.
And let's go back there. And as you can see in my screen, one of the biggest concepts behind shortcut is the concept on, all the tables that you might have and in multiple ways, different options where you can enable shortcuts in your organization. That means that perhaps you have tables in a data warehouse which you want to make available alongside other tables or files in a lakehouse. You will need to copy that data out of the warehouse. But in this case, with one lake, you simply create a shortcut in the lakehouse pointing to the warehouse. That data will appear in your lakehouse as if you had physically copied it. Since you didn't copy the data, when the data is updated in the warehouse, all the changes are automatically reflected in the lakehouse. Many of us, which already have existing data in our data lakes stored in Data Lake Generation 2 or in Amazon S3 buckets, these lakes can continue to exist and be managed externally to Fabric. There are extended shortcuts to include lake outside of one lake and even outside of Azure so that you can virtualize your existing Azure Data Lake Generation 2 accounts or Amazon S3 buckets into one lake.
Oh, that sounds great. So, can you show what is that step-by-step process to create a shortcut?
Yeah, of course. Let's head over again to my PC so you can see how easy it is to create a shortcut directly opening a lakehouse in our case and checking on a couple of things. There's the concept on internal shortcuts, meaning that you already have your data in one lake, or external shortcuts if you want to point into a Azure Data Lake Generation 2 or Amazon S3 bucket. As you can see in my screen, in the left pane, I already have this shortcut pointing in countries, and I'm getting data from another Azure Data Lake. Remember, could be your subscription, could be another subscription outside your tenant or outside your region. I have a files here, CSV files in my shortcut, and it's like I have the data directly in my lakehouse, but it's just a reference. So if you want to create your shortcut, you're going to be clicking here, in this case, files, click the option of new shortcut. As I mentioned before, I have internal sources if I want to point in another artifacts that I already have in my one lake, or external sources if my data is in Azure Data Lake Generation 2 container or in Amazon S3 bucket. In my case, I'm going to click on the ADLS Generation 2. As you can see, the reference of the URL, I need to grab this reference from my container out of my Azure portal. In this case, I'm going to check or double check that the URL contains DFS instead of blob. That is really important to check on your URL. Then I'm going to create a new connection. I'm going to name it Axis Discount. And then instead of using the organizational account, I'm going to click on the access key and I grab the access key directly from my container on the ADLS. After that, I'm going to hit next. I'm going to say that I'm going to grab the data from taxes folder, naming discount taxes, and then hit the create option here. As you can see, I have my reference, and at the right, I check my CSV file coming from the ADLS generation 2.
That's awesome. So let's recap. If I understand correctly, this could be a really good option to consolidate data, right?
Yeah, this is kind of one of the great options out of shortcuts to consolidate data across workspace, or even check our last video on domains, the way to structure the data within your organization without changing the ownership of the data.
Great. So, and continue with that, is there's any option also to access the shortcut via REST API?
Let's check back on my machine. I would love to share one of the URLs, and you have the OneLake API parity. That means that you can access all the data in your OneLake in the same way you are leveraging ADLS Shen A2 APIs, or even data coming from your Amazon S3 bucket. You have even examples on how to access folders, how you can request and using leveraging parameters out of there. And you have examples on how to list items within a workspace, or even create folders within a lakehouse via REST API.
Great, Gaston. So thanks for your explanation and on that point. All right, PowerMate, that wraps up today's episode. And as usual, we hope you are as excited as we are about the potential of Microsoft Fabric and Power Platform.
Stay tuned, because in our next episode, we will be moving forward with what about Fabric and Databricks? What about that mix?
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and join us on this journey.
Together, let's unlock the full potential on Power Platform and Microsoft Fabric.
See ya.